Let's talk about 25 things that you may or may not know of the Cayo Perico Gather Intel mission in Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. What's up, mi gente? Makaveli here, and I spent around 2 hours on this island trying to find everything I could think of. I just wanted to showcase a couple of hidden gems and locations that might help you out in your scoping mission. So like always, if you like this video and you'd like to see some more, drop a like and subscribe for more content just like this. Stick around to the end because I have 2 additional parts that go a bit deeper into detail. Now, looking at the map in general, my map is completely bare. All right, so we're gonna take a look at the map later on and you'll see what it kind of looks like with everything scoped out. Now, starting off with the airstrip, this warehouse is pretty good to check out as soon as you land on the island because it has 2 floors that might have some decent stashes. To check out the second floor, you can jump on the forklift and climb through the top, or you can use the ladder on the side and you can easily see your secondary targets as well. Warehouse number 2 is right across from warehouse number 1, and if your first warehouse doesn't have anything good, you can always check this one out as well. Secondary targets change locations, so you just might find what you like here as well. Traveling, hands down, the best way to move around the island will be the bike. This will help you get past the security checkpoint easy peasy. It's way better than the Jeeps. Only problem is, if you get caught by a guard, it's kind of hard to find another bike around. Now, after the security checkpoint close by, you can find another hidden stash that might have secondary targets as well, but don't worry, I'll show where it is on the map later in the video. If there's no guard by the signal box when you get to it, it means that it's on the first floor. So if you ever see a guard standing nearby the signal box, you'll have to go up the ladder and you'll have to find it on a higher floor. Talking about another hidden stash, it's pretty dangerous, but here's another location you can check out as well. In this run, I didn't have anything, but looking at the map, this is exactly where you're going to find it. I personally think it's not worth getting caught up for this location, but silver lining, I was able to find the supply truck right in front of it, so that kind of worked out. Down by the main dock, here's another warehouse that I normally check when I'm running the Cayo solo. In my last video, I walked away with 400k just from this location. And close by to that stash, here's another one. Just be careful for the guards and Jeeps patrolling around. Take some pictures, send them as well. And then close by to that one, there's another stash also. So there's 3 right here on this main dock. Let's say you just hacked the signal box and you want to get around the island by foot. Another easy way is climbing up to the top of the communications tower and jumping off with a parachute. Don't worry, just by climbing up to the top, you automatically get one, but you only get it once. This helps me get to further locations like I'm doing right here. And honestly, I do it so that I don't have to worry about driving around the map and being paranoid of a random guard or Jeep spawning out of nowhere and catching me. Now, if you notice, I'm hitting the north dock at this point. Here is another stash location as well. It's tucked around the back. Nothing really good at this one though. Sticking to the same area, another warehouse close by has these 2 stashes as well. Now, going back to the airstrip for a second, sometimes you can find guard clothing, but I'll explain in more detail later on in the video. Bolt cutters, super annoying, but here's one location where you can find them. And while we're here, knock out a picture of the location itself. It is a scoping point of interest. I didn't even have it, and I've been playing this for almost 4 years. So anyway, this water tower right here, keep this in mind. I'll get back to this pretty soon, and we'll talk about it. Now, the very important one, the drainage tunnel. Yes, I'm going to say it. This is the best entry option to the compound when doing the heist. Simply drive a dinghy over this location or jump in the water and swim and you'll find the entrance towards the bottom. And this is what unlocks the cutting torch setup mission on the planning board back at the sub. Now, circling back to the water tower, someone asked me to show it and here it is. You can poison the guard's water supply by finding this box of powder around the island. Simply grab the powder, go to the water tower, climb to the top of it, and pour it down the hatch. This will weaken the guards and help you when you're doing the heist. Here's another random bolt cutter location that I found right by the airstrip, but we'll talk about it later in the video as well. We're just going over things pretty quickly here. If you're taking too long on the island to scope everything, Mr. Rubio will hop in his helicopter and start patrolling like a guard, so be careful. I never took long with this mission, so I'm finding this out now as well. Just like the guard clothing and bolt cutters, grappling equipment can be found laying around the island as well, but I'll explain that in just a bit. Here's another entry point location, the South Point. As you can tell, it was my first time finding it as well, so keep that. And here we are. Now this is the map with all my findings. Remember, a lot of these findings change every time you do the heist. So let's begin with the airstrip. The question mark areas are secret money stashes, and you'll need a metal detector to find the money. Honestly, it's not a lot, so don't hold your breath. Let me know in the comment section if you want to find the metal detector, and I can post another video explaining where to get it. At the airstrip, you can find the control tower, the power station, 2 warehouses with secondary target stashes, and they might have some decent picks, some bolt cutters, guard clothing, and of course, a motorbike for your travels across the island. Now speaking of the bolt cutters, guard clothing, and grappling equipment, they are scattered throughout the island as well. There are multiple locations where these items might spawn, but we can go in depth in just a few minutes. Moving along this road, I found some bolt cutters here as well. Very few guards in this area, it's not too bad. So far, these are 2 locations of where you can find them if you are really interested in getting the bolt cutters. But moving on, this 3rd location has 2 stashes of secondary targets as well. Again, if you're doing this heist with a friend, you can ransack the compound and you should be good. You wouldn't have to worry about all of this. But if you're doing this solo, and if you're trying to switch things up, here are some other spots to check out. Guards patrolling, yeah, I'd say a moderate level. Now moving down the road, you can find the security checkpoint. Because there's so much going on, I didn't even stop to take a look. So let's keep going right here on the map where you'll find the empty stash house. That's the one where I found earlier and there wasn't anything there, but I was able to find the supply truck. The supply truck never stays in the same place. Here in this location right here, all I found was a small stash house with a pretty decent target. Always good to keep in mind just in case you want to come to this one. Down here in the bottom right, I found the grappling equipment. And a bit lower than that was another point of interest, which was the South Point drop zone. Overview look at the compound, you can see the secondary targets I found, and of course, here is where you're gonna find the drainage tunnel as well, if you haven't scoped it out yet. Remember, if your secondary targets are gold and paintings in the compound, do this heist with a friend and use the drainage tunnel as your compound entry point. If the secondary targets in the compound are not gold and paintings, then that's when you check out the island for the white stuff and the green stuff, because cash is the lowest paying secondary target. Now moving up to the main dock, there's 3 stash houses here, easy spots to raid when doing the heist. I used to hit the main dock first before going to the compound, but only if I found the white stuff. Now I'm heading back to my planning board where I'll explain a few more details of the perfect heist you can set up for an easy payout. Remember, the easier you make this heist, the quicker you'll get rich. Looking at the planning board, let's check out the secondary targets, and we can use my scope out mission as an example. Cash is the lowest secondary target payout item you can find, so honestly, I wouldn't waste my time. If you're really trying to get a payout, a good payout, go for any other secondary targets to fill up your bag. The green stuff, the white stuff, the gold, and the paintings are the #1 priority in filling up your bag. Getting your primary target is one thing, but filling up your bag is another. When it comes to the white stuff, you need 2 stacks to fill up. When it comes to the green stack, you need 3 stacks to fill up your bag. When it comes to the gold, you only need 1 stack and a half. And when it comes to the paintings, you only need 2 stacks. Well, 2 paintings. Moving on, infiltration points. There are 8 different ways to infiltrate this island. Honestly, my top 2 will always be the drainage tunnel at the #1 spot and the main dock at the #2 spot. If I'm doing this heist solo, 9 times out of 10, I would use the main dock and the long fin approach vehicle so that I can raid the island and fill my bag first before going to the compound. If I am with friends, then drainage tunnel is the meta because all we have to do is take the primary target and fill the bag all at once. When it comes to the airstrip, the halo jump, the West Beach, the north dock, the north drop zone, the south drop zone. Honestly, you can use these infiltration points if you're just trying to switch things up. I always stick to the same plan. This way I can go in, get my money, go out. That's it, you know, that's all I pretty much need to do. When it comes to escape points, it doesn't really matter, but I will always still choose the main dock. Remember, when you finally escape the compound with the primary target and your bag is filled up, all you have to do is run to the water and swim away. So it kind of makes it easier for your escape. That's why it doesn't really matter which one you choose, but I will always go for the main dock. As for the compound entry points, main gate is like the aggressive style of the casino heist, so that's a big no for me. If you take damage during the heist, you lose a lot of profit. I recommend the drainage tunnel 100%. I tried the north wall, the north gate, the south wall, and the south gate, but I really didn't like them. But if you want to try them out, be my guest. I just know you can't go wrong with the drainage tunnel. And lastly, as the points of interest, these additives only apply if you're interested of trying to complete the heist with a different strategy. The power station and control tower, I feel like it makes a simple heist a bit more complicated. You really don't need to worry about all that. The bolt cutters, the grappling equipment, the guard clothing, and the supply truck change location on the island every time you do the heist. When you're doing the gather intel for the first time, your main objectives should be to take pictures, get to the communications tower, hack the signal box to scope the primary target, make sure to visit and take pictures of the main dock and north dock, take pictures of some secondary targets at a couple of stashes, and before you leave the island, scope the drainage tunnel. This is literally the perfect formula for a perfect heist. Next up would be the prep tab. For approach vehicles, you only need one, but the top 3 that helped me get the heist done and super quick were the submarine at the number 1 spot, the longfin at the number 2 spot, and the alkonost, if I said that right, at the 3rd spot. The submarine is for if you're doing the heist with friends, longfin is if you're doing the heist solo, and the alkonost is if you're doing it with friends as well. For the equipment, never do the demolition charges. Just do the safe code, fingerprint cloner, the cutting torch, and the plasma cutter if that option appears on your board. Again, never do the demolition charges because this is the aggressive type, okay? Don't do it because trust me, it's going to be a pain in the neck. You only need to do the other ones and you're pretty much golden. For the weapons loadout, top 3 in order would be the aggressor at the number 1 spot, which is the shotgun, the conspirator at the number 2 spot, and the marksman at the number 3. Just make sure you buy your suppressors so that you can shoot quietly at the guards when you're doing the heist. And if we're talking about disruption, none of them. These missions are kind of like the Duggins of the casino heist missions, so it's all up to you on how you want to do this. Now that is all that you need to know for the Cayo Perico Gather Intel Scope mission, and if you've enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments section if there's anything else you'd like for me to go over or anything else you'd like to see. And like always, get connected, show some love, and Mac is out. Peace.